So, let's talk about Ethan. We're going to dive into this incredible viral story that's been making the rounds. It's all about this creator who becomes massively successful, builds this entire world from inside his studio, only for it to start, well, glitching out, revealing a trauma he's kept buried for years. The story kicks off in 2025, and it all starts with this number, 20 million subscribers. I mean, just let that sink in. It's an insane number. And the whole thing begins on the exact day he hits that milestone. He's driving his Ferrari on top of the world, and that's when it all starts to crack. And the story describes what happens next as a mental glitch. It's like his brain just blue screens. For just a split second, everything, sound, time, even his own breath, just stops. Time doesn't just pause, it folds in on itself. It crashes. It's like a warning light flashing in his mind, signaling a total system failure. Now, what's the trigger for this? It's a near-fatal car crash that doesn't even happen. A truck just barrels past him, and in that split second of terror, swerving, tires screeching, something deep inside him just snaps. A phobia he buried 2 decades ago comes roaring back to the surface. And that, right there, is the central mystery of the whole story. Here's a guy who is famous, who is powerful, and who lives in this bubble of self-imposed quiet. So what memory could possibly be so terrifying that it shatters that silence? To get to the bottom of it, we have to go back, way back. All right, so Section 1, a glitch in the empire. The story first shows us Ethan's life today. He's in this huge, sleek mansion, all glass and screens, like a cocoon. He's even quoted saying, "People think silence is scary, but when you've lived with noise too long, silence becomes your home." So for him, it's not about being lonely, it's about control. But as we're about to see, that control is a total illusion. Next up, the ultimate gang. To really understand where this trauma comes from, the story throws us back to 2005. Back then, Ethan wasn't some silent icon. He was just a skinny kid with scraped-up knees. And he wasn't alone. He was part of this crew that called themselves the Ultimate Gang. And the chemistry of this group was everything. You had Ethan, the visionary, the one with the big ideas. Then there was David, who was just pure, hilarious chaos. Charlie was the heart of the group, the musician. Steven was the quiet genius. We're talking a 160 IQ. And then there was Davin, the voice of doom, whose dark humor was kind of their secret weapon. This line from the story just perfectly sums them up. See, they weren't just troublemakers for the sake of it. For them, laughter was a form of rebellion. Humor was their armor against a world they found boring and restrictive. Their friendship was forged in sarcasm and detention. And this brings us to part 3, the scream on the mountain. This is where the story takes a really dark turn. The gang decides to go on this legendary camping trip to the top of Mount Chariot. It was supposed to be one of those classic coming-of-age adventures. You know, the kind of memory you make on purpose. It ended up being something else entirely. You can see how the whole vibe just shifts. Day 1 is perfect. All laughs, roasting marshmallows, just 5 guys who think they're invincible. But by dusk on the second day, the mood changes. The air gets heavy. The forest goes dead quiet. There's this feeling that something is off. So they're in their tents, tired but happy. The silence is absolute, almost ringing in their ears. And in the middle of that profound silence, a sound just tears through the night, and it's described as raw, loud, and completely human. It's not a yell for help. It's the sound of someone in unbearable pain, of pure terror. It literally sucks the air out of their lungs. They freeze. They know instantly something is terribly, terribly wrong. Section 4, encounter with the maniac. Now, every single instinct is screaming at them to run, to get out of there. But Ethan convinces them they have to investigate. He actually says, this is the moment that turns a vacation into a saga. So they move forward, not as kids anymore, but as a unit, bracing for whatever's out there. As they get closer to where the sound came from, the ground under their feet changes. It's not dirt, it's wood. They found some kind of ancient, man-made walkway, and it leads them to a building that's less of a house and more of a skeleton, just being swallowed by the woods. And what they find in the back lawn is straight out of a horror movie. The story details these ancient torture devices. First, a guillotine, with a body still in it. Then a scorched iron bowl with a silhouette burned inside. This wasn't just a murder. This was a ritual. As Stephen, the genius, says, it was a shrine to evil. As they're just standing there completely paralyzed by what they're seeing, a whisper cuts through the air. It's cold, thin, and sounds otherworldly. The voice confirms their absolute worst fear. They are not alone. And that's when a figure emerges from the shadows. The description is pure nightmare fuel. He's wearing a cracked, smiling clown mask, and you can see rotting skin underneath. His eyes are glowing blood red, and in his hand, he's holding a rusty axe that is literally humming, the maniac. And this is where it all comes together. Section 5, the live confession. We jump back to 2025. After that near crash on the freeway, the memory of that night on the mountain comes flooding back. The sheer weight of this secret he's been carrying for 20 years is just too much. He has to tell someone. He has to speak. So he's having this massive war inside his own head. On one side, he's got the prison of silence he's built his life around, this idea that some truths are better left buried. On the other side is the danger of telling the truth. He's literally thinking, will my audience, who are here for fun, unsubscribe from my pain?
But he does it. He hits go live, and the world tunes in. 42 million people watching live. It's a global record in the story's universe. They're all there, waiting for the usual Ethan content, and they have no idea that the curtain isn't about to go up, it's about to come crashing down.
He opens the stream with those words, his voice low, dead serious. He tells this massive audience that this story has been with him since before the fame, before the channel, before any of them even knew his name. He's about to tear down the very empire he built, just to finally set himself free. And that's the final haunting thought the story leaves us with. Ethan built this whole persona, this character, to survive. But the story he's about to tell is raw, unfiltered, and terrifyingly real. So what happens to the icon when the haunted kid he's been hiding finally speaks? And what does that say about the line between who we are online and who we are when the cameras are off?